us recommendations for philosophical science fiction.
It's our annual summer reading list. Next time on Philosophy Talk.
Listen to Philosophy Talk every Tuesday at noon on KSJE 90.9 FM, Farmington. Don't miss the 38th Annual Freedom Days festivities in Farmington. This long-standing tradition runs June 28th through July 4th, featuring a gem and mineral show, ice cream social at the E3 Children's Museum, and the July Jamboree with free live music. Then there's the ever-popular July 3rd fireworks display with music simulcast, partly in thanks to Platinum sponsors Citizens Bank, Farmington Taco Bells, and Pesco. Celebrate this year in Farmington. Visit farmingtonnm.org for a complete schedule of events and learn where to listen for the fireworks simulcast. Ten minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Monday morning, the 10th day of June, 2024. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Micklin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air right here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, we broadcast at 103.3 FM. And if you're anywhere else on the planet and want to tune in, you can always go to our website to listen. And that, of course, is KSJE.com. I want to also welcome our viewers this morning who are joining us. The video of this program is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So welcome aboard, everyone. I'm so glad that you're with us. We have a busy Monday morning this morning, beginning with an program about an upcoming exhibit at the Feet of Clay Gallery in Aztec, the Faces of Digital Art show that is going to be opening up later on this month. Several of the artists are with me this morning. We'll be talking to them as well as some of their inspirations and showing you some of the artwork that will be on display at Feet of Clay. That program begins in the next few moments right here on KSJE, so stay tuned for that. Later on this hour, about 8:45, we'll be talking with the folks behind the San Juan River Balloon Rally in Bloomfield. That is happening this weekend. Beginning on Friday. We'll be talking about all the events that are planned in conjunction with that later on this hour right here on KSJE. Then, of course, Mick Hess is going to take over the studio, and our classical music program, Roving with the Arts, begins after the news at 9:06. We also remind you can connect with us on X and Instagram in addition to Facebook and YouTube. And if you're a podcast person, you can find and subscribe to KSJE podcasts. They're available for free wherever you're probably already listening to podcasts, because I hear that's a thing these days. So check it out and maybe discover a new program that you may have missed. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it's a cloudy Monday morning, 68 degrees at the moment. We are expecting a mostly cloudy day today, a pretty good chance of a scattered shower or thunderstorm in the forecast as well. Today's high, just 76 in Farmington. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 62. Sunshine and heat returns tomorrow with a high of 88, but cooler in Aztec, I'm told. 63 for an overnight low Tuesday night. On Wednesday, sunny and hot with a high of 93, 94 by Thursday, and maybe another chance of scattered thunderstorms on Friday with a high of 82 degrees. I'll be back with my guests right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center. The most important ingredients to sustaining health and wellness are the resources and tools that help you live a vibrant and healthy life. At San Juan Regional Medical Center, the goal is to promote health by making sure those resources are available. Find the path to the best life at lifebetterhere.com. San Juan Regional Medical Center. Better is our mission, improving lives through personalized health and care. And back in Studio A this morning with my guests, as I mentioned, from the Feet of Clay Co-op Gallery in Aztec. Bonnie Adams is back in our studio wearing her Feet of Clay hat this morning. Bonnie, good morning. Welcome back to KSJE.
Good morning, Scott. It's good to be here again, and I'm excited about what's coming up at Feet of Clay.
Right, me too. And can't wait to talk to everyone about it as well. So thank you for being here. Also joining us this morning is one of the digital artists as part of this show. Leah Landaverde is here. Good morning to you. Thank you for coming in this morning. Good to have you here. And also Alex Winterhalter is here this morning, another digital artist who is part of the show coming up at Feet of Clay. Thank you all for being here this morning. Bonnie Adams, let me start with you a little bit about this whole idea of having a digital art exhibit at Feet of Clay.
Well, it actually started last summer when I met one of the artists, Lillian. You can see her self-portrait up there, her digital self-portrait with the bangs.
Okay.
And we talked about art, and she was doing digital art, and in this world of art, digital art is the newer thing, the thing that the younger people are doing. And talking with her, I realized that digital artists don't have an opportunity to meet each other. They usually communicate online. They don't have face-to-face with the people who might buy their art, and they don't have a time to work together or to learn about art together or to share ideas so much. So I had a crazy idea of why don't we do a digital art show at Feet of Clay? Well, digital art, the equipment needed takes a little bit of pocket cash, which we never have at Feet of Clay. So I applied for a Connie Gotch grant.
Right.
And they were wonderful in supporting us, and so we got a grant to buy the equipment we needed. And Lillian and I started talking with other artists. And so right now, the artists that will be presenting range in ages from in their early 20s, which would be Lillian,
Okay.
all the way up into their 80s,
Wow.
which would be Elaine. So people don't think that digital art is that broad. And it goes from making album covers for the internet to doing digital painting that is reproduced on canvas. So just animation, so many different things I've learned about this media. If I was younger, I'd be doing it myself. But
Maybe
I have
you
enough
still
of my
will.
own stuff to
I
finish.
know you have a lot on your plate, that's for sure. But
So
very exciting.
I'm excited to have an opportunity at Feet of Clay to make a space for digital arts. So we will be having the show on the 21st of June from 5 to 7.
Right.
But from that point on, the hope is that we will always have a digital art display, and we have the opportunity and a space now to do that thanks to Connie Gotch.
How exciting,
And
right.
yeah, so right now we have a couple of the artists
Right.
in-house and others that we'll be talking about too as they come up.
Very cool. Now, tell me exactly what is different about the display of digital art. I'm assuming there's monitors and things like that. Is that kind of what
You
you
are
need to be able
assuming-
to do this
You
properly?
are, you are assuming correctly. So
Okay.
we have 3 screens
Okay.
that are.
And I'm going to have you
Okay.
explain this, Bonnie, while I run out to turn off whatever's beeping in the other room. I don't know if the
okay.
audience can hear that. We're not on fire. Everything's fine, guests,
Okay,
so
we
don't
will.
go. But if you wouldn't mind explaining
I
what
will
that is,
talk myself
I'll be
to
right back.
death. So we have we bought 3 television screens, and we have them posted on a wall, and all of this took so much figuring out and working out how to do this. We also have a laptop, and there will be, one of the artists has made something called Ancient Idaho, which is incredibly interesting. It's available on YouTube, and that artist is Alex Winterhalter, who you've met briefly.
He's
and
here in
we'll
our
talk
studio,
later.
yes.
Yeah, and he's going to have 1 or 2 of the episodes playing on that screen. 3? Oh, he'll
3.
have 3 playing. And also, so people will have something to take home. The artists have made prints and stickers and other kinds of things, and there will be other opportunities to talk with them about commission work and all of that. And so this is such a new thing that we're figuring it out as we go. And as we have input from you guys, we'll even have better ideas of how to make you able to enjoy this in your own homes.
Very cool. Very excited. Thank you for
It's exciting.
Thank you for explaining that while I run out for a minute and ran back in. But Alex, since we talked about your video project, would you mind giving us a little bit more insight into what that is and your inspiration about that?
Sure, yeah. So my project is called Ancient Idaho. It's an animated series. It's kind of hard to talk about the plot because almost everything that happens in it is a spoiler for the plot itself.
Okay, don't do that.
Yeah. So, but it kind of follows a guy, a young guy named Calvin, who wakes up mysteriously in a field with no memories in Idaho, and it kind of goes from there.
Gotcha. Okay.
So my inspirations, there's an animator that I found when I was younger. His name's Don Hertzfeldt. And he does these, because animation is something that I've always been pretty interested in, but I always had the idea that in order to create animations, you needed, large studios and whole staffs. But then I found Don Hertzfeldt on YouTube, and he makes like some of the most kind of philosophically interesting, sometimes kind of emotionally devastating animations that you've ever seen. And he just uses little stick figures, you know, and they're just these little stick guys. But he delves into territories that are so incredible, you know. And then later I found another animator who's just one guy. He goes by Umami on YouTube, and he had a series called Interface that is he's incredibly talented, but you can tell that just one guy made it, you know, in his bedroom. But it did incredibly well. And, you know, he's toured it in film festivals and stuff like that. So after that, I was like, you know, maybe I'm going to try my hand at this. So Ancient Idaho, you know, the first episode compared to the third episode that I'm working on right now, the first episode's pretty rough because I'm using it to teach myself all these skills as I go. You know, learning how to make music, how to voice act, how to do animation, 3D modeling, all of that, video editing.
Interesting. So you're doing the whole thing yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
From writing the storyline, I guess, and to doing the artwork and animating the artwork and the music.
And the music.
The whole
And then I
stuff.
have a little bit of help. Leah here, she does she voices a couple of the characters. I have a couple of friends who voice the characters. But yeah, almost all by myself, just in my room.
Very good. Very cool. Well, we'll see some of that at the show, and that's amazing. And then there's a self-portrait, I think, that we have of you, right? That we've also will be part of the show as well.
He looks happy.
There's a couple pieces of his art in there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Very, very good. Well, let's take a look at some of the other pieces of art that Bonnie Adams has sent over to me. Talk to me about this one.
This one is a self-portrait of Lillian, and right now this is all you get to see of her, that and what's on the poster.
Yeah,
Okay.
She's 22, and Alex can tell us a little bit more about what does Lillian do.
So Lillian, that piece right there is styled after the movie Midsommar. But Lillian does primarily illustration, but she's branched out. She's done some music video work. She does like mixed media animation and video stuff. And she experiments with music a little bit too. So she's kind of wears a lot of hats.
Okay. Very good. Thank you for that. This one, Bonnie?
This is Elaine Frick. Now, Elaine is the oldest member of the group, and she does painting with digital art. So she doesn't paint with the brush. I know, I don't understand it.
I'm listening. I'm
we were
learning.
hoping
Right.
that she would do a demo, but she's a little shy, so she didn't want to do a video demo.
I see.
But her work
But
will
she paints digitally is
she
kind of what we're
paints
looking at,
digitally,
right?
and
Okay.
you
We can
have
see
one
that a
of
little
her-
bit. Yeah.
Her paintings there, it'll come up later, and I'll just shout out, that's Elaine's.
Okay.
And her stuff will be on canvas and mounted. But people have this idea that painting digitally or doing any of this stuff is easy peasy simple. I've learned enough to know that, oh no, it is not. It is in its own ways just as difficult as picking up a brush and mixing your paint. It's just a different tool to come up with wonderful art. So Elaine has been interested in painting her whole life and in doing art her whole life. She's basically self-taught. She takes classes here and there, but she says that for her it's almost like an addiction. She can't seem to stop. She has stacks of paintings and she just can't seem to stop. So she very often will spend all day painting.
Okay.
Every day. So
Very cool.
yeah. So and her stuff is beautiful. In appearance, it's much more like traditional painting when she is done. So it's an easy transition
Right.
into other forms of digital art because it feels like what you're used to.
Well, and I think we can kind of see this if folks are watching the video of this program. They can kind of see that in the display right now. Of this is a looks like a painting, but it's a digital painting.
Yeah.
Is how she
Yeah,
recreated
and
this.
is a caricature, of course.
Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
but her stuff that she produces that'll be at the show is very much more like what we consider traditional painting as in appearance.
Elaine has been doing digital art since that was available on the consumer market. Since that was something you could do, she started working with the first version of Photoshop. So.
Yeah. She's been doing it a while.
Yes,
Quite a while.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. And this one?
This one is by Nick Klug. He's one of the other early members of this endeavor. He and Lillian and I were the ones that first talked, and they helped me know what to get and all of this stuff. He is actually in college. He is getting a
Just
degree.
graduated. Just graduated.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did. Just graduated as a graphic designer and a multimedia artist. So he is, let me see. talk more about him.
Oh,
Nick.
what else do you
Logo
know?
design,
Right.
advertising graphics. He just does all kinds of stuff, stylized illustration, mixed media artwork, and the poster that you had up, he was the one that put that together. So
Oh, this one.
this one right here, he
Okay.
created that. Each artist created their own self-portrait, sent it to Nick, and then he developed this poster here. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Well, very,
yeah.
very creative. Very good. Well, I want to get over to Leah Landaverde a little bit. You've been very patient, waiting for me to ask you a couple of questions about your artwork. And so, talk to me a little bit about the type of art, digital art, pardon me, that you do, and we'll maybe look at a couple of your pieces as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. What types of things do you do?
So, I kind of enjoy like macabre and spooky artwork in a sense. I'm newer as far as like making digital art. I started back in like 2018. So it's been about 6 years that I've been working on it.
Okay.
But it's not been like a full investment or development. It's been more like a hobby. And I've been working on my skills and whatnot because it's just for fun for me. But I know that I've been working with Alex on figuring out like a style or like a color palette and figuring out the different ways to color things. I've done a couple of pieces where they have turned out really well and some that have not turned out really well.
I think every artist can say that, probably,
Yeah.
can't they? So that's probably
It's-
true.
It's all about a learning experience for sure.
Yeah.
And it's the same learning curve that you would have with a physical art. There's different ways that you can approach it. There's different programs. Just recently I got an iPad, so I've been using Procreate and the level of paintbrushes and
Oh, all
styles
the
that
details you could put into it, I
Yeah.
suppose, right? Lots of choices.
Exactly.
Well, and that's a huge
Very
huge
cool.
part of this program and this group is also just the helping the artists helping each other kind of develop and sort of working on it. We're all at different stages, but a lot of us are pretty young. And just starting to kind of break into what it is that we're trying to do. So it's kind of like the first step.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, and Bonnie said it at the beginning, I think, is there's not a lot of opportunity maybe for digital artists to meet one another and maybe, work together or offer advice or things like that. And this show, I guess, offers that possibility, too, for you all to get together and kind of talk to each other. And so, Leah, this is one of yours, if I'm not mistaken. Is this correct?
Yeah, that's my
Do you remember?
self-portrait.
Your
yes.
self-portrait, okay.
Yeah. I am not the best at drawing faces, so I was like, I'm good at drawing bones.
There you go. That works.
I went with what my skill set allowed me to do to get my point across and at least represent as far as like what I am and what I do.
Sure.
And I think the dogs are hers as well.
Okay. Let me see
Aren't
if
they?
I
Those
can.
are yours. You're
The
the dogs.
wolves, yeah.
The
Yeah,
wolves.
wolves,
Let me try to
yeah.
find that one here while we talk a little bit more about that. This one, I think, right? Is this
I
what-
really,
Yeah,
one of the
that is
things
it.
I'm so excited is what Alex was referencing. The digital artists in this group that they have met are going to continue to meet
Right.
and hopefully will attract others. So, an inspiration, whenever a bunch of artists get together, you learn and you grow and you get new ideas and it sparks new ideas. And that seems to be happening with them already. So I love that.
We're talking about a experimental mixed media film right now. So
Okay. That sounds
So,
cool.
yeah.
Very cool. I want to bring this one back up onto the screen. This is another one of Leah's pieces. And so talk to me a little bit about this.
So I know that with this one, it's for Seize the Night. I kind of had started a series with this, and it was more about kind of like expressing the different things that I've gone through or have, like just kind of portraying the different parts. I know that I personally am not a night person, but my stereotype as far as what would come across with my personality would be a night person. I'm out by like 10.
Understand. I think we can all relate to that, or at least some of us can. So that's cool.
Not these two.
Right. But very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that, and we'll talk a little bit more with you in just a moment. But lots more of different art and artists, Bonnie Adams, who are part of this show, as you mentioned. And again, I think for folks who are watching us this morning or listening to us this morning, and maybe they've thought about digital art or maybe dabbled in it a little bit, this is a great show for them to come and maybe meet some of these artists to,
Absolutely.
again, network and learn about other folks in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. We also came and chatted with Luke Renner here. He does his digital art group, and I'm hoping that in the future we can have a little bit more of a connection so that his students and people in the community will feel free to come to Feet of Clay. And I would love to have a different digital artist on display every single month so that we can increase the knowledge in the community of digital art and, like I said, give them more and more opportunity to meet one another and to grow as artists.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that could work. And
Yeah.
knowing what I know about Bonnie Adams, it's probably going to happen.
Well, hopefully.
I think so. Talk to me about, this is another self-portrait from one of your artists, right?
That's Nick
That's Nick.
Klug.
This is Nick. Okay.
Yeah, that's Nick Klug. I had hoped he would be able to join us, but he Alex
He's-
said he
He's a
just
busy guy.
graduated, so
Very busy guy, Nick.
yeah.
Well, that's all right. But we'll see some of his pieces at the exhibit,
Show,
right?
yeah.
At the show.
Uh-huh.
So that'll be good.
This is Alex.
That's mine. That's a
Alex?
sticker design. Yeah, that'll be a sticker for sale for a couple of bucks at the show.
Okay. Very cool. And this one?
That one's also
Another one of yours?
Yep. Yep, that's from, it kind of got scrapped for parts, but that was a book I was working on called Anatomy. That's kind of about, sort of about the process of creating art, which is a little, comes across a little pretentious for my usual taste, but it was something that I wanted to do. So that'll be a lot of the pieces that you'll see in the show. I had a computer malfunction and lost a lot of art, so I kind of had to pull apart what I had left, and so that'll be the stuff for Anatomy will be in the show.
Okay. All right. And I guess that's one of the problems maybe unique to digital artists,
Yeah,
right? If you have a
yeah.
computer or hard drive failure, that doesn't affect maybe a traditional artist as much as it would you folks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And traditional artists, I guess, have to worry about house fires and flooding.
Well, true. Very true. But for digital artists, it's a completely different different situation. So interesting. And let me get a couple more that we have here. Let's take a look at this one.
That one's also mine, also from Anatomy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And the color palette there seems to be a
Very
continuation
consistent.
here, right?
Yeah. I'm kind of stuck on it.
For at least this series, right?
Yes,
I got
yes.
it. Makes sense. That's okay. And then this one. This
This
one's
is one of Elaine's.
okay. This is a little different from what we've seen, right? Seems to be a lot of
Yeah.
layers to this.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's much more like a traditional painting, and she paints, and I wouldn't be able to tell you how she does that, but they could probably speak to it more. And she will be at the show and can talk to you directly and talk about her process.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Right.
so-
Gotcha. How many artists do you have at the show as
At
part of
this
the
time we have
show?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There'll be 5 presenting.
Six.
6?
Becca.
Oh, I forgot about Becca.
Oh.
Becca is just a very novice with digital art.
Okay.
So
She is working
she's-
on some pieces.
She's
though.
just,
Yeah.
just brand new.
Cool.
So she's not the youngest, but she's the newest of the artists, which is also exciting. That's another thing I'm hoping will happen is that we can work with some high school kids, and that the artists will have opportunities to maybe do demonstrations for high school kids.
Yeah,
so
we like-
that's playing around in there. There's whole lots of ideas.
Okay.
We
Alex?
like the idea of kind of being able to introduce young artists, kind of ease them into the art world of doing gallery shows and stuff like that in a kind of safe and controlled environment. You know what I mean? So if you listening know anybody, if you have any nieces or nephews or your son or whatever who is interested in digital art, then this is a great place to start. Tell them to stop by Feet of Clay.
Right, very true. And again, the show will be opening on the 21st of June, a Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. You'll have a little reception.
As usual.
I would
Yeah.
guess, right? And then it will continue to be open until July 19th.
Yeah.
And big thanks to the Connegautch Arts Foundation for
Yes, absolutely. I was shocked about how expensive anything is, and so that's the other thing I'm hoping to make available here and there is the tools to learn and do and work with, because we have a dynamite laptop, and
Absolutely.
we have a drawing pad, and we actually have we're able to get a projector.
Okay.
So there's opportunity for when we do the open mics in Poetry and for 2 artists, a poet or a writer, and a digital artist to work together to have perhaps a poem and something on the poet or on the screen next door. So there's all kinds of things available. All you need to do is put your creative hats on and think what you'd like to try.
Interesting.
And so, yeah.
Okay, very cool. You're adding visual to audio.
Yeah, I
don't know who does
We
that.
are now capable.
Except
of
for a
doing
radio
that.
station, but I don't know why we'd want to do that. But yeah, go figure.
Yeah.
So
So we have that capability. now.
Right.
So that's
very exciting.
that's
So
it.
more to come
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
creative
and-
minds at Feet of Clay.
And more opportunity for interaction between artists of different venues. And that's when it gets really exciting, I think.
I would think so. Very
yeah,
true.
yeah.
I do want to ask Alex and Leah a little bit before we run out of time this morning about your art and how it's displayed, and if a customer wanted to have it printed or put on a piece of canvas to display it in a more traditional way, would either of you be okay with that, or is that an option for the buyer? What would you say?
Yeah,
Alex?
absolutely. So we have the ability to print on demand. We have like a handful of pieces that we have prepared that'll be at the show. But if anybody sees anything that they like, then we can definitely print that out for them.
Okay.
Certainly.
Leah, how do you feel about that? Same kind of thing?
Yeah, I know that I've done a lot more research on like the marketing or production
Yeah,
part
she's
of
my
everything.
marketing manager.
Ah,
But I've been helping as far as like building Alex's brand. I've been designing business cards for him, making sure that like cost effectiveness and making sure that we have the product and have at least a few samples, and the business cards are to allow for like reaching out for personal orders or if they want specific things, as well as people reaching out to him because he is working on illustrations and animations. I'm not quite to that point. I have less investment on it, but that's just because for me, it's a hobby. I'm just trying to be involved in the art world. But I know that I've also helped Lillian. We've talked about doing business cards for her. So I'm just trying to help like the group figure out different ways to market themselves. We've been looking into different endeavors as far as getting more exposure for them, and that's the largest part that I'm trying to help contribute towards the group itself.
right. Well, but it's also relatively new, right? And so I think there's a lot of folks maybe who are learning about this and learning what the different things could be done with a piece of digital art, right? And if you wanted to display it and how you'd want to maybe to do that, whether you want to print it on canvas or glass or metal or what have you. There's a lot of
Right.
options, right? And each one has its own unique qualities, I would think.
One of
Yeah.
the things Lillian had talked about was selling screensavers. That she had ideas about how people could buy to have, how they have on their
Yeah,
TVs or whatever. So you have rotating paintings
Right.
available
From a local
to
artist.
purchase from a local artist that would be on your screen instead of on your wall.
Right.
And so that's, I think, is an interesting idea for making digital art available to the public.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
And then there's commissions and, like you said, it's so new that the marketing part of this art is a growing thing. And this show, I think, will help give ideas of what does the community, what would they like to have.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's another thing that'll
And
come
you're-
from the show.
And it sounds like Feet of Clay is open to hearing what the community would like, or
Always.
what the community would like to see, or
Yeah.
do, or contribute
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the walls of the
yeah.
gallery.
Yeah.
All
always.
those things. Yeah, that's how it works. So that's
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Uh-huh.
One final question for you all. I'm assuming the cleanup for digital art is a little bit faster than maybe the cleanup for traditional art, Bonnie Adams and everyone. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just cleaning your desk.
There-
It's just getting all the energy drink cans off.
One of those. Got it.
Yeah.
A little different.
Yeah. Yes. It
Okay,
is.
very
It
good.
is.
Well, it is coming up. The Faces of Digital Art is the show coming up, opening June 21st, Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. It'll be open at Feet of Clay, the Artist Co-op Gallery in Aztec, until July 19th. Hope everyone will come and check it out.
I do too.
Yeah.
It would be really good.
That would be great. Thank you all for coming in this morning and
Thank you,
talking
Scott.
about your art
Yeah.
with me this morning. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Thank you very much. My
Thanks,
guest
Scott.
this morning
Thank you,
from
Scott.
Feet of Clay, you're welcome, here with me on KSJE.
Next steps for